Hey there guys, how are you? So I haven't done a ranking video in a while and I thought why not rank one of my favorite franchises of all time, Final Destination. When you think of a movie that literally kills off all its characters in the most brutal and absurd ways, you already know what you're in for. By the way, some people claim that the death sequences are a bit ridiculous, but I do believe in the death force, and if I can believe the force in Star Wars exists, why not in Final Destination, right? Final Destination is no means a well thought out, excellently written movie with plenty of depth and characterization, but I think for what the premise of the story is, it's really well made, and to me personally, I think it's one of the most suspenseful and entertaining franchises out there that's just perfect for you to just sit back, relax and munch on your popcorn as you go through each death sequence. Why did that sound so wrong? But anyways, I'm going to be ranking all 5 movies today, and just a reminder that this is my personal list and it might differ from your list, so let me know your personal list down in the comment section as well. Now keep in mind, I did enjoy every single one of these movies despite one or the other coming above the rest. So coming in 5th place is Final Destination 4 or The Final Destination, and I remember going to the video store and struggling to find the sequel because it wasn't called Final Destination 4. So this time the main character has a vision that things go horribly wrong in a racetrack, and of course everyone dies in crazy brutal fashion. The death force ain't playing in this one because we see crews literally unscrew themselves, unlike in the previous films where the death force was kind of subtle. But where this film sort of falls flat is that I didn't really feel the suspense before the big death scene. I never really connected with the main characters, and they abused the CGI to the max, and it looked pretty terrible in some scenes, especially that death sequence where that guy gets chopped through the fence. I mean, like, where was his bones? They really tried to be this big movie with explosion, tons of visual effects, but in the end, it really didn't work for me. In 4th place is Final Destination 2. This story takes place 1 year after the original, and the big death sequence is a crazy highway collision. The premise of a highway collision is really tough to mend into a Final Destination type of story, because in reality, it wouldn't be as crazy as how the movie depicted it, and so I didn't really quite buy into it. But what I like about this sequel is that we get to explore a little bit more about the death force, and for example, before a character dies, we can see small hints that tell us the way he's going to die, like in this scene that alphabet falls off his fridge and it's spelled I, and moments later a ladder goes through where? His eye, of course. I also love the introduction of Tony Todd as the creepy coroner, and I swear this guy gave me the creeps as a kid. And I know we did get to see him in the original, but he really didn't have much to do there. In 3rd place is Final Destination 5. This is the latest installment in the franchise, and this time the story is about some workers going on a business retreat and things start going wrong on the bridge. So spoiler alert, this is actually a prequel of the original, because towards the end our main characters are on board flight 180 and we do see the characters from the original film getting kicked off the plane. What I love about this movie is that the big death sequence is really suspenseful, and I think some of the best moments were witnessing those characters trying to get off that bridge. They also had one of the most suspenseful death sequences in the entire franchise, and you know what I'm talking about. Holy shit, now that's how you build suspense. They also had the most disgusting and hard to watch sequence, literally.
Is that supposed to be happening?
And just from watching those death sequences, I think that's where they really excelled. They also tried to be different this time because the characters are trying to kill one another, because a life for a life. And to sum it up, I connected with the main characters, I loved the story, the suspense was there, and that's why it deserves 3rd place. At number 2 is the original Final Destination, and it's been 18 years since the movie came out and it still holds up today. And why it's so high up my list is because I have to give credit to such an original idea that works so well well, and the director James Wong did a really fantastic job in building a suspenseful and entertaining movie at the same time. So, a group of high schoolers are bound for a trip to Paris, but the main character, Alex, gets a vision of the plane crashing. So a few characters are kicked off the plane, and moments later the plane does in fact crash. This is the film that started it all, and we are also introduced to the death force because in one sequence we do see the water sucked back in after killing off the character. Some of these sequences are really smart and well thought out because in this scene we do see that she pours hot water in her cup and then cold water into it, and therefore it cracks, as science has of course explained. This is a great story with well developed characters and an original idea that worked so well, and that's why it deserves second place. And in first place is Final Destination 3, and this is where it all began for me. I remember picking this up at the video store, we went home to watch it and absolutely loved it because we went on to watch it 3 or 4 more times in one sitting because that's how good it was. This is that story that I can really relate to because I love theme parks, I love roller coasters, and of course the big death sequence in this film is on the roller coaster, and so I really loved it. Not only that, right, this stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead, a very talented actor and one of my biggest crush as a kid. But besides that, there's time taken to build up the deaths, and the way they did it was really creepy and suspenseful. We also got to sort of figure out how these characters were gonna die by looking at the pictures she took, and I thought this really did a good job in captivating us, the audience. Can we talk about the tanning death scene? Never mind. All in all, a very solid film and the most entertaining of the lot, and I think this is the one that I connected with the most, and that's why I put it in first place. So that was my ranking for all 5 Final Destination movies. If you guys agree or disagree, let me know down in the comment section. And I think this is one of my favorite ranking videos that I've done so far, and generally I think one of my favorite videos that I've put out for you guys, because this is that crazy franchise that I hold near and dear to me. And I am aware that this isn't perfect movies, but these are some of the most entertaining films that I grew up with, and if you guys have not seen them, I definitely recommend that you guys go check it out. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.
You are home. Just be careful now.
There is someone walking behind you. Turn around, look at me.